Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at Shredder's Throne. Neca finally came out with this one, and we're going to take a look and see if it lives up to the hype or if it falls down with the trolls. So let's go ahead and pull this out and take a good look at it. The thing I really like about it is basically the box art. The box art is really sweet on this. Like, that right there could be a poster in itself. Right there is your next metal album cover. Bam! Let's go ahead and pull it out and see what we got. Pulling straight out of box, this is what we got. It looks like... interesting is what it looks like. This is literally what we got here. It looks like we might have some pieces on the bottom here that we'll have to peg into there once we get it open. This is clamshell just sitting here with some tape on the sides here to hold it down. So be wary of that. Going right out, it looks like we've got some barrels. That's pretty cool. These are nice looking barrels. They are plastic, but they do have this like kind of nice metallic look to them. Pretty cool. Then lifting this out, and there's our back piece. Our back piece appears to have some tie downs, so look out for those. And then we've got a nice little propane canister too. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's very bendable and malleable. So if that doesn't look quite right, it looks like we can just gently push that. That is soft rubber, so you can move things around. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get everything out. Now we have got all of our pieces out here. We've got this wing and we've got this wing. We've got our propane tank. We've got both of our little barrels. And let's go ahead and try to put this thing on here the way that everything's supposed to. If we pick this up and look at it like this, we can see we've got this nice little indent that a barrel will fit in, and we are going to just set a barrel there. Like, they are literally just gonna sit there. They don't get like pegged in or nothing like that. So then on the other side, again, barrel, bam, we've got our trash junk coming up to play. We're gonna take those off for now so we can flip this and look at it. If you see here, we've got a little circle here, and that's where your propane tank's gonna sit. So that's pretty cool. There is no instructions telling you how this is all supposed to slot in. You do have, let me see if I can make this a little brighter. This is looking a little dark. All right, you do have this little sloot here and this little sloot here. And if you look carefully, you can tell the difference. So no instructions required. Bam, you can see that these are all gonna slot in. This one's gonna go into that front hole. This one's gonna go into that back hole. If we can see what we're doing. There we go. And then barrel and barrel. That looks janky. I guess it's supposed to. And then let's see if we can redo this. Put you first, and then you. Interesting. There we go. All right. So now that's in there real nice and tight. And bam, there you go. You've got your Shredder's Throne. Now let's go grab a few figures and set it up and look at it. As you can see, it looks pretty interesting. It's definitely a set piece, not a dio display. So like, you are going to have a lot more fun with this if you set it up into a display versus just trying to, boom, have a chair. So let's go ahead and grab some things. And there is your Shredder from Soto in that chair, pushing him all the way back up in there. A lot of people are complaining his feet are super far. Like, that is like a good like inch clearance, and I couldn't get his leg to properly close. He's always had an issue with that lower half of that elbow joint on the knee joint, elbow joint, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you've got like a good like inch to 2 inches space right here and everything. That is very interesting choice on how to do a throne. You would expect him to be able to actually like sit in the chair and not have to like uppies into the chair, because like that is totally, Shredder's walking over to that throne, going to pop a squat, and he is uppying his way into there, like, he's all like looking for his own little muscle mommy. But yeah, it looks pretty sweet. I do question the choice of having that random piece in the back there that we can add in, but these barrels definitely give it more oomph. That is a little bit better of a look than you would expect to have gotten. This is the piece that is questionable to me. Like, I feel like you are going to end up with, like, somebody out there is going to end up with one where this is completely broken off. This does not feel like that is on there in a good way at all. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go ahead and set up a display with it. Let's go ahead and get rid of this flash. But like I said, okay, there we go. Like I said, like, the more you add around this, the more it's going to pop. So you can't just pick this up and put him in the throne and like throw that in your cabinet. It's not that nifty. This is a very niche little piece that they decided to go with. I mean, like, I would have preferred them to do like a full, like, with backdrop and everything, like a actual junkyard scene dio piece instead of this chair. I feel like this chair is something that should go into like a dio piece. They should build like a whole junkyard scene, like, for us to put our stuff in and have a spot specifically for the throne to go into, because this by itself is very underwhelming. Like, that's all I really got to say about it, is that it is a very underwhelming piece. And it definitely comes off with that, like, we've got a bunch of junk thrown together. It is literally a bunch of junk thrown together. This is Neca straight selling us some trash, a big old trash heap, and a lot of us fell for it. It is an interesting piece, but I definitely find it an easy pass. Just an easy pass, easily. Like, this is not that cool. This is, like, I mean, you can barely tell that that's even a chair. Like, without, like, when you have everybody in it, you can barely tell that that's not a chair. Like, that is just all we've got to it, is that you can't really tell that that's a chair. Let's go ahead and put some other things into that chair, see how he looks. So you've got a foot. Let's go ahead and, are we going to make that clearance? We're not going to make that clearance. We got to move you guys. Bam. So, foot soldier in the chair. Pretty nifty. It's just, this chair is not that great. Like, there's nothing wow over this chair. Like, you know, it's just, what did we just drop? Oh, okay, that was just his bandana. Okay, grab some more things. Let's check out a super shredder. There we have our super shredder in the chair, and, like, I mean, his feet actually can touch the ground and stuff, and you can mess around, get him into some better poses, but, like, he is very bulky in that chair, and he kind of just dominates the whole setup. So, I mean, there is your super shredder. You can get him into that chair. He is, I just bumped the camera. Terribly sorry about that little jolt. So, like, he is, like, bam, like, he is in there, and he is squanched, and he is squeezed. So, I mean, like, that chair is barely big enough for him to fit into and everything. So, yeah, there's that. Let's go ahead and do a few more swap arounds and call us a wrap. And there's our movie one shredder. You just have to adjust the cloak to how you would want it to really set him in there. I feel like cloaks and thrones don't exactly go together. Like, you would think the whole king, the regal thing, but, like, I mean, personally, when I'm working on anything with a cloak, I find the cloaks to be a lot more hindrance than anything else. I can't get him to, like, really go back in there in a decent way without really just being like, all right, well, let's remove the cloak, essentially, you know? That is kind of how we should tackle this. Like, give him a little bam, just so that that cloak isn't taking the spotlight. Because he's got these, like, big flamboyant cloaks, you know? So, like, they kind of take up the spotlight. Even there, like, you can just, like, see it, like, poking through. It's awkward. I do like the throne. I do. but it is very underwhelming, and it is not a necessity in anybody's collection at all. Like, don't feel like you missed out if you missed out on this. Like, I mean, this is the most underwhelming thing I have received from NECA in a long time. And it feels almost out of place. It almost feels out of place with the turtle stuff and everything. Like, I mean, if you had that junkyard scene like I was talking, and this was in it, that would be kind of cool. But just this by itself, it kind of, underwhelming. But let me know your guys' thoughts, what you guys thought of it, if you passed on it, or if you ended up buying one, and what you thought of yours. So, we'll see you around, guys.